Hello everyone, welcome to the NyesWorld podcast. We have another outstanding episode for you. We have an ex-superstar footballer and now he is one of the biggest artists in the UK. It is the one and only Moli.
What's going on, man? That was a nice intro, by the way.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Thank you, man. We've been chasing you a very long time to try.
Yeah, you have. It's my first podcast as well, so congrats.
Perfect. Well, today we really want to get to know you, but before talking about who you are today, we want to know who you was before.
Yeah.
So tell us about your football career and how it started.
Oh man, football career. That's we have to go all the way back, man. So I started playing football pretty much when we first moved to the UK from France, and I was maybe 10. And then I didn't really play for like a team or anything like that. I was only playing in school.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was 12, I got picked up by Luton. For those who don't know, obviously I'm from Luton, so that's my hometown. So I got picked up by Luton, started playing in the academy. And then, 2 years later, so when I was 14, I got picked up again by Liverpool.
Liverpool?
Yeah. That was an interesting one. That was a good one too.
That's a big jump. So what position did you play?
Striker. Well, no. I tell a lie. I was a midfielder.
Yeah.
And then I played one game up front because the striker got injured, and then they put me up front, and then that was it. Ever since then, I became a striker. But I never wanted to be a striker. I always wanted to be a midfielder. The Yaya Toure type of.
The Yaya Toure.
Well, because I was bigger and taller than everyone, they're just like, yeah, you're going to go up front.
There you go. People, you see what I mean? That is already a disadvantage. He came to this country when he was like 14. He must have been about, how tall was you when you was 14? 6 foot?
I'm the same height I am today.
You see what I mean? Like, this is so unfair. Kids are like 3 foot tall.
Exactly.
He comes up here 6 foot.
6 foot at the age of 12.
The age of 12. So when you was playing for Liverpool, like, how was that for you? That must have been an amazing accomplishment.
You know what? Now I'm looking back on it. Yeah, it was. But obviously, then you're just in the moment. You know what I'm saying? You're not really trying to think too much outside of that. So I was pretty much just living in the moment. You know what I mean? Playing, and for Liverpool, it didn't really hit as much. You know, it didn't really. I would say that. Pretty much, obviously, looking back on it now is obviously completely different. Obviously, a massive achievement. But back then, I just wanted to play football, man. That was that. So, it was good. It was amazing. So, great experience, and here we are, man.
So, when you was playing for Liverpool, how long was you actually playing for them for?
You know, I didn't even stay. You know what? I should have stayed much longer than I did. I signed at 14. By the time I was 17, I left. So it was. But I should have stayed because I had another 2-3 years left in my contract. But by the time I turned 17, I turned pro, and then that's when I left Liverpool. I signed for Wolverhampton on a 3-year contract, and then that was pretty much the start of my professional career. So yeah, man.
How did your actual professional career go? Because I can imagine, like, you know, when you watch like Sky Sports, you see all these players getting these big transfers, and you're 17 years old.
Yeah.
Let's be serious. 17 years old, big transfer from Liverpool to Wolverhampton, professional contract. I can imagine it went to your head. You must have been on top of the world.
Nah, not really, you know, because it sounds bad, but I should have actually stayed at Liverpool. But my agent at the time was like, no, you should go, etc. But I was like, all right, you know what, no problem. But I should have actually stayed. But at the time, I was like, you know what, I just want to play football. Regardless, no matter where it is, I just want to play football. So looking back on it now, I think it was the wrong move. Not because of the club or anything like that, but because of where I was at the time as well. So I don't think it was the right move, but it happened. Went over there. To be fair, that's when the beginning of my injury pretty much started from there. So that was it was a history back then, man.
The beginning of obviously talking about your injuries right now, because again, I see loads of footballers breaking their ACLs, hurting their knees. Yeah. How did you handle that? Like, because that must have been that must have took a lot of mental pressure for yourself, knowing that you have to produce goals, assists, but you're injured and you can't play.
Yeah, no, to be fair, my first year at Wolves was great. I had an amazing first year. And then anything after that, and then this was hilarious. And then my second year, the first game of the seasons, I did an amazing preseason, and then the first game of the season was against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, for the reserve. And then in a warm up, I do this. It was the weirdest injury. I jumped and I just landed, and my shin was just hurting for some reason. I didn't play that game, and then the next day, I went to see the physio, and then it was still hurting. Nobody knew what the injury was. Nobody knew. We went down to London to see some of the best doctors. Nobody could even find out what it was. And then it wasn't until months and months we did so many scans, etc. And then we found out that it was actually a hairline split between my shin bone, like that muscle. It was like a hairline, literally a hairline split.
Wow.
So you can't operate on it, and you kind of just have to wait until it heals itself. So I was out for like 7 months.
7 months?
7 months. I barely played that whole season. And then the next season, because it was my final year, I had to pretty much play to earn another contract. So it was a complete disaster, I'd say, man. But
having these type of injuries, I know it can be too much in your mind. Like, it can really break you down. And I can tell, obviously, the person you are now is very different to who you was before. So you've gone from
100%.
that superstar footballer to now a superstar artist. So you're telling me, was it because of the injuries why you transitioned, or did you just stop loving football? How did it work?
You know what? I will be completely honest. Like, the transition wasn't like anything that I planned or anything like that. I didn't even plan to stop playing football. So it wasn't like anything that I planned or like, I'm going to stop this and going to get into art. I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a club I was playing for. Like, I was playing like part-time for like small clubs, etc. And I didn't have no money as well. Like, no money coming in. So everyone think now like, I switch my profession because of the passion or anything like that. No, it wasn't. I was broke.
That he was broke.
I was like 100% honest. I was broke. So it's like I needed like a way out to hustle, to try and find a way. You know what I'm saying, to put to bring some money in. And then that's when I pretty much started. Okay, I knew how to draw slightly. I mean, a little bit. So I was like, all right. Some people I knew, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna, if you got any trainers, etc., just give it to me. I do a little bit of drawing on it for like 20, 30 pounds. And then that 20, 30 pounds, it went on to 50, 70, 80. And then, you know, that became my little side hustle. I was like painting on trainers, you know, and then we went on, and then that kind of grew. And then I transitioned from trainers to canvas, and then, you know, that went on and went on. So that was pretty much the transition, I'd say. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Hearing that transition, that's deep. Like, that's very deep. You're talking about obviously making all this money playing football, then you go for a broke stage, then obviously now you start painting. But I can tell this is all because of a hustler's mentality. Like, how did you come up with this hustler's mentality? Has it always been in you, or is it just something what grew on you because you needed to make money urgently?
Nah, you know what? When you don't have a way out, like, you got nothing else to do. It's amazing what your mind can actually do, and the things that you can, the resources that you can literally find from anything. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, from going from playing football with some of the people that you see on TV today, the Raheem Sterlings, Luke Shaw, Chuba Akpom, all those guys, going from that to basically sitting on my couch in my mum's house with like having nothing, like, you know what I'm saying? So there's you know, that can really do, you know, that can really like to create a monster from you. Do you know what I mean? Because you know what you're capable of doing, but you can't do it. So so you need to find another way out. So yeah, from then on, I was like, okay, what can I actually do? What I'm actually good at? Like, what can I tap into? And then, art was literally like the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, okay, I can actually draw. Let me see if I can do some stuff on trainers. And then that became like a little a side hustle. Do you know what I mean? Because of so art was 100% my first choice because I simply just knew how to draw.
Yeah,
That was it. That was that. I just knew how to draw, and that was my first choice. I'm like, all right, let's create something, man.
let me ask you something now, because I can imagine at the time when you're playing football, you're the superstar. Everyone believes in Mr. Moli. Obviously, he's playing for, you representing England, all these teams and stuff like that. Then when you transitioned into painting, you must have had a lot of people not believing in you. Did that fuel you to make sure that you do make it in your industry, or what would you say?
To be fair, at first, I can still remember this like it was yesterday. I remember the first thing that I actually ever made, I must have posted on my old Instagram page, and then like 10 minutes later, I deleted it. I don't know how people are gonna receive it. Like a lot of people are gonna say I failed in football, so that's why I'm doing this, etc. So yeah, there was a scared mentality there that I was like, okay, I don't want people to think that I failed in football, so that's why I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was that, but I was 100% like, it was just that hustle mentality where I was like, you know what, regardless what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna make it out. I'm just gonna do it. I don't care what people say, and I'm just glad I stuck by it. That's one thing I'll say.
With this, it's a complete different industry. How did you actually adapt to the art industry? Because I can imagine at the beginning now you start painting on canvases, and then obviously you branched off into getting your paintings into galleries.
Correct.
How did you do that? Like, how did you go from painting on canvases to a gallery?
You know what? At first, I didn't know. Like, it took me a while to actually get my art into galleries, because I had to really like prove my worth and to create the brand as well. So that's pretty much what I was doing. I moved to Manchester when in 2018, and that's when I pretty much started. That's when like my art career started, and I didn't get my first artwork into a gallery until 2022.
Wow.
Yeah. So it took me a long time to really build the brand. So by the time that my work was in galleries, you know, the name is somewhat already established. You know what I mean? So yeah, it really took me a long time, and not just that as well, to really understand the business side of things as well. So it's not just like, yeah, I'm an artist, I'm just gonna paint and hopefully somebody find my art and etc. No, I really looked at it as a business as well. So I'm not just an artist, I'm also a business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's how I pretty much I've looked at it, and then that's how I was able to differentiate the two, and then kind of bring them back together and be like, okay, it's a business. Sorry, I love creating, but it's also a business at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So I need to look at it as such. So yeah, that's that was that, man.
One thing I would definitely say, people, about him, this is very inspirational. The reason why I'm saying it's inspirational is because he's gone down one path and he's ended up in another. But the whole point is he's shown pure resilience. And when I mean resilience, like this guy, he is really a motivator for a lot of young people, because I know there's a lot of people who want to start their own fashion brands. There's people who want to start their own businesses. There's people who want to be artists, but they just don't know how to do it. What advice would you give to people who want to break into this industry?
Into the art industry?
Into the art industry.
You really got to know what you're doing, and you really have to know the difference between a creator and the business side of things.
Yeah.
And once you know those two things, okay, that you're not just a creator where you just love to create. There's a bunch of people that know how to create. There's a bunch of people that know how to. I know so many people that know how to paint much better than me, etc. But they have to understand that that's just literally like 20% of it. Mm-hmm. The rest of it it's about how the brand looks. What's the value of your work? Yeah. How do you present yourself? How do you put your work out there? And to really be able to build your network as well. Who have you sold your work to? Mm-hmm. So it's not just about, my product is great, or my service is amazing or whatever. That's not it. Like, it's the other things that, the boring stuff that people don't really want to do, but that's what's gonna, that's what's gonna separate you from everybody else.
Yeah.
It's if you're able to get that right, yeah, you're gonna be different compared to everybody else that's in your field. 100%.
That's actually true, because I can see there's a lot of, like, again, even if I scroll on my actual feed on my Instagram, I see loads of artists, I see loads of people painting,
Yeah.
I see loads of amazing people, but they just haven't blown up to, like, again, to the level where you are. Like, how would you say you blew up? Is it because of your clientele, like who you've had in the recent, or is it because your brand itself, what you've built?
To be fair, I'm blessed because of my background in football, so I was able to tap into that. Do you know what I mean? So yes, it was a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but because of the people that I know and the people that I played with, etc. But I still had to have a product good enough for them to endorse. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all I did was just tap into my network and people that I knew, and yeah, that was pretty much the only thing I did. And then from then on, I was like, okay, this is going good. Now let's take it a step further. Let's see if we can go into galleries, So that's what, so I knew if I had to do that, then I had to pretty much learn the business side of things as well. So it's not just about painting all day in my house or studios. No, it's about, okay, understanding how the industry work, and to be able to place yourself in the right time. In the right places at the right time, and to really be able to surround yourself with the right people as well, and having a team that believes in you, and that they can see the vision and really be able to take you to the next level. So that's the most, to me, that's the most important thing.
One touch point there, you just obviously spoke about your team. I can imagine at the beginning you was by yourself. How's it looking now? Have you expanded your team? How many people was in your
No, it's not that many people. I've got one person. That's it. Josh. So he's he handles everything that I don't want to handle.
Okay.
He deals with everything I don't want to deal with. So he deals with, obviously, with contracts and invoices and discussion with the galleries, etc. But because he's good at that, I just like to focus on what I'm good at as well. So as a team, we'll come together and we'll make magic. Do you know what I mean? So it works well. So also, I had to be man enough to be like, okay, I know I'm not good at that, so I'm gonna get somebody that's really good at it to be able to deal with that, and to give him that power and be like, you know what, you deal with that. I trust you. I'm gonna do what I'm good at. Yeah. And he trusts me to be able to do what I'm good at as well. And that's pretty much a team. And a team doesn't have to be, a group of 10, 20 people. A team can be like one extra person. That's it.
That's true. Like when I look at your business structure and like even all your paintings, like online, I would think you probably got about 100 people working for you, because I can imagine it's a lot of pressure having to deal with a lot of your clients as well, isn't it?
Correct, 100%. It's a lot of pressure. Like as we were speaking then, I got a DM from a Premier League footballer. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of pressure. You get a lot of pressure. You have to deliver. It's not just about the work, is also how good the work how good the work is, and how you can elevate in every step of the way. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you have to literally stay on top of things. 20 is literally, I work from Monday to Monday. Monday to Monday, every day. Even on my day off, I don't even have days off, but even when I'm like, I'm just going to take a break, but it's not really a break because my mind is still thinking about, okay, what's next? Yeah. Where can we go? Where can we take the work? Who can we work with? Who can we collaborate? Do you know what I mean? So it's literally non-stop. Do you know what I mean?
See what you just said there about pretty much you're always going. Like you're never ever stopping.
100%.
And I can imagine that is very different to when you was a footballer. So obviously I can imagine you still have to work very hard. But I know having your own business, there's no days off.
There's no days off, and the lifestyle are almost completely the opposite of each other. So it's like, as any athlete would tell you, it's like your schedule is pretty much made for you. So okay, Monday we need to report at 8:30. At the training ground, and then we'll train for an hour and a half, and then we've got gym, and then after that we might have double session. Latest by 3 p.m. you're home. Normally by like 1:30 you're home. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and then on Saturdays you have game, or Tuesday night you have game. So your schedule is pretty much made for you for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you know exactly where you need to be, where you need to report. Now my life is like every day is something else will come up. Like it's like I'll just be there chilling. Oh yeah, if you need to be here, you need to travel here, you need to go there. Oh, it's literally non-stop. It's like every day is different. But to be fair, I get a lot more freedom as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get a lot. If I'm tired, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go on holiday. I want to go to Paris for the weekend. I want to go Dubai. I need to go here. Like I can do that because I can still work from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, so I get a lot more freedom with what I do now compared to when I was playing football. And my success, and that's the most important thing as well. A lot of people don't realize is like my success today is based on how smart and how much I work.
Yeah.
As opposed to playing football, like you can train from like all week. You can train like the best in a whole squad.
Mm-hmm.
Come Saturday, you don't get picked. You're like,
that must be a burner.
What's going on? Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's yeah. So that's why a lot of people don't understand as well. It's like your success as an athlete, somewhat you're not 100% in charge of that because you can be the best. It can take one injury or one manager that don't like you, and the next thing you know, you're sidelined. So it's not. So now I'm pretty much I wouldn't say in control of my own destiny, but it's I somewhat dictate my terms as well in terms of what I do on a day-to-day basis. Do you know what I mean?
Obviously, being a business owner, again, you do have your own rules, but again, it is a lot of hard work, and everyone understands that. Especially if you are looking to come into business, people, honestly, you need to know that it's not easy.
Nah.
It's a lot of time consuming, and you also have to come up with new projects, new ideas, and loads of things like that. Because I heard you just say, obviously, you could fly to Paris. I can imagine you're doing galleries in different countries and things like that. Is that correct?
Yes, not so much at the moment, but yeah, we're gonna tap into different countries: Saudi Arabia, Japan, Switzerland. So yeah, we're gonna be doing shows pretty much all over the globe. But so that's definitely in the work. So yeah, so that's. But in terms of clients, we have clients like New York, LA.
Yeah,
got clients all over the place. So you always have to make sure that, even just in terms of the communication as well. So it's you always have to make sure that you're always somewhat available for when they're also available. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to go back and forth. So yeah, but honestly, I wouldn't like. I love doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it's every day is a new challenge. Every day is the something is going on, and then you basically have to adapt. You have to, there's a lot to do. There's a lot.
As long as you've got the passion for it, you should.
100%, 100%.
And that's what it is with that.
If you love it, that's what matters. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
With this, obviously, what you're talking about now, having this passion for this art and drawing. One thing, I think not only I want to know, but I think everyone wants to know. The prices, because I can imagine this is not for the everyday people, is it? The prices of this art.
What, the originals?
Yeah.
Listen,
Don't worry. Okay, you know what? He's not going to tell us the exact price.
Nah, to be fair, what I'll say though, one thing I'll say that is like every year my price is going up. Like we can see the charts. Like every year my price is going up. I think when I first started, like let's say from my price from 2019, for example, compared to what it is today, it's like
it's mad.
Yeah.
It's mad. So let's say I wanted a portrait drawn of myself. Let's say double the size of this pillow right here.
Yeah, that's too small. We don't even do that no more.
Okay, let's say triple the size. A portrait of myself with a crown, looking fly as hell. How much would that run for?
Oh, that's gonna run you at least 15,000, bro.
50,000?
15, yeah.
15,000 people. Okay. This is the level of the art we're talking about. Portraits are 15,000. Goodness me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
the price is going up. Listen, next year is gonna be at least 30.
30.
So if you want something, you need to holler at me right now.
You know what? I need discount. That's all I know. If you're on this podcast, I want damn discount, people, because
don't worry, I got you. Nah. But it's a blessing though, you know what I'm saying? Because the work is going up. Obviously, the work is getting better as well. So every day we're creating the value in our work. So we make sure that our clients, they know of what they're buying, that it's not a liability, it's actually an asset. So it's like almost like buying something that you know that it's gonna appreciate in time. Do you know what I mean? Like art is, it's not a safe, I wouldn't say it's a safe bet, but it's it's almost a safe bet. So as long as the artist is elevating, and you don't really lose of money in it, to be fair. So
I understand that.
So invest.
Definitely invest.
100% invest.
What would you say is your actual future vision? So I don't want to ask that cliche question, what you do in the next 5 years. No, I want to say, what's the next level you're looking to take your business to? Because we already know you've been in the galleries in different countries. What's the next level for you? What are you thinking?
For me, to be fair, you know what? I don't like to make plans in terms of like, in 10 years I need to do that, etc. I need to do that, etc. For me, it's about maximizing the potential that we have as a business and also as a brand. If every year we can see that, okay, this year if last year we did this year we need to do it even bigger. Do you know what I mean? So it's like every year we just need to do, if we've done an amazing show for last year, if this year we need to do it even a bigger show. Okay, the following year we need to do it in this country, we need to do it in that country. So, and then by the time, in 5 years you realize that you've done more than what you actually set out to actually do, if that makes sense, because every year you're just focusing on doing much better than you did last year, as opposed to saying, in 5 years I want to do this, I want to do that. But that's pretty much how I like to handle of my work and also my business as well. Obviously, if we have goals that we want to do, you know what I'm saying, that we want to achieve as a team. But me personally, it's about, okay, let's just keep improving every single year. And if we do that, everything else will come naturally.
This mindset you've got, I think it is really good, especially for young people, because you've transitioned from the lifestyle of the footballer to a top artist, but you're also a businessman. Like, I hear you obviously talking about your brand. I know you obviously do your paintings. What else do you sell as well to your clients?
What else do I sell to my clients?
Yeah.
In terms of... to be fair, we're doing a lot of stuff at the moment. So we're going to tap into sculptures. We're going to tap into a lot of things. But my clients always have come in to me and asking me for, that's why I love my clients so much, because it's like whenever I get new clients, it's like they're also challenging me to do different things I haven't done before. So they'll ask me, is this possible? And then I'm like, I haven't actually done that before. So there's that back and forth as well, so that I like as well. So my clients will come to me with new ideas and they'll be like, can I do this, can I do that? I'm like, I haven't done it, but let's try it. And more time than none, we execute it to a high level, man.
Definitely.
And that's the key.
Going to the next level, 100%. I'm always with personal growth and personal development and obviously making your business a lot better.
Yeah.
But one thing I need to know, what advice would you give to the people who are upcoming and who are dreaming to become artists? What advice would you aim at them?
What advice would I give them? To just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it sounds very like very simple or very like cliche and whatnot, but if you have an idea, as opposed to just waiting until you have everything in your mind figured out before you even start. Like I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just painting. I didn't even know what I was painting. I was using the wrong medium. I was painting oil painting. I didn't even know what oil painting was, as opposed to using acrylic.
Yeah.
So I was like, I remember my first ever painting was in oil. I was like, it took a month to literally dry. I was like, why is it not drying? And I realized, it's oil paint. It doesn't actually dry straight away.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know what I was doing. So, and then, but whilst I was doing it, what I was doing is I was learning. I was gaining experience. I did that. That's wrong. Okay, let's change it up. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I didn't start that, if I was waiting in my mind until okay, now I got it. Now it's completely figured out in my head. Let's start. I would have never gained the experience that I got, if that makes sense. So even now, if looking back at my the work that I did in 2019 compared to my work now, I mean, I'm like, it's almost like two different artists. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all about having the experience. So if you're debating with yourself in terms of like, if I should start or not, just do it, and you're gonna to gain the experience, and then and then by the time you look up, you would have been much further than you would have been if you didn't start.
I get you. How would you say art's actually played in your life for when it comes to your personal growth?
It helped. I'd say it helped me to think different.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me to be a lot more. I'm a calm person, but it helps me to be a lot more calmer. It helps me to not to focus on the things that matters. So if I feel stressed, if I feel if I have anxieties, I just go to the studio and just stay there all day. Sometimes I even stay there all night. I'm there just because it's just me playing music and painting. That's it. Nobody else. I got no other thought. So that was the same feeling I had when I was used to play football. So I've been training, just me, you know, the goal, and then just shooting. You know what I'm saying? So that was like my safe space. So obviously when I lost that, art became that for me. Do you know what I mean? So I'll just go to the studio and just paint, really, and that helped me, you know, with anxiety, stress, or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, 100% helped, man. If I didn't have that, man, I'd be going crazy.
I know you said obviously if you didn't have this, you would have kind of lost your mind. I can imagine, most definitely as well. Like I can see this as like a form of healing for yourself, isn't it? Like when you're in your own zone, you're painting, you're really just concentrating, you just want to create something amazing for the world. Is it more like a healing sort of thing?
Is it more like a healing? Yeah, 100%. It definitely is, because like art to me is a process, right? It's a process. It's like when I'm painting, for example, if I'm doing a commission or if I'm painting for the gallery to sell it, the only part that I get for myself is while I'm creating. The moment that painting or that piece is completely done, it doesn't belong to me anymore. That belongs to everybody else. So the time that I get to myself is whilst I'm actually creating that particular piece. Do you know what I mean? So the moment that's done, I have no longer connection with it. It doesn't even belong to me. So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't even remember literally making that piece. You know what I mean? Because the connection is not even there anymore. So the connection I have with the pieces is when I'm actually making it. The moment that's done, all right, next. Do you know what I mean? So so that's the only time I get to myself, and that's the only time I'm actually at peace when I'm creating. Don't get me wrong, some pieces are extremely stressful to create, a little more complex than others, but it is what it is. But I love it, regardless of the simplicity or how complicated it is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they're all the same to me. Do you know what I mean? So, but the moment that's done, that belongs to the world, doesn't belong to me anymore.
How long do these paintings tend to make as well? Like when you make double the size of that, like, are these done quickly? Or these take like about a week to create, 2 weeks to create?
Some pieces has taken me years, because of, it's not just about me going to the studio and start painting. Yeah, it's literally months before that. It's the idea. Okay, it's the idea. So it's the idea, the concept, the how, and then thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like coming up with, the hardest part is coming up with the idea and actually the concept. And then once that's somewhat clear, then that's when I go to the studio and actually, you know, an idea or a concept could take me literally weeks, sometimes even months, to just come up with the right concepts, and then executing that. You know, it could be a week, or it could be 2 weeks, could be, you know, sometimes even a month, depending on how big or complicated it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. All depends, really. I'd say all depends, but yeah, it's the idea that's the hardest part. Is the idea and the concepts. Yeah, to come up with that. That's
Because I've looked at some of your paintings. They're very bespoke and they're unique. They're not just like a picture of a flower or a picture of a man. Like these are using different colors, using different shades, using different sizes, and I think it's really amazing. Like, this is what's different between you and the other artists I've seen out here. And I definitely think that's the reason why you are like the top of the world, the top of England when it comes to this stuff.
Trying, man.
Giving you the full ratings for this. But for people who obviously are, let's say they're interested in obviously getting a piece from you, how do they get in contact with you? Is it directly through social media, or do you have a website where you sell it? How do you
I've obviously directly through social media. Obviously, I got my email there as well. But yeah, if most of my work will come through either social media or the gallery that I work with at Qantas. They're based in London, so normally that they'll go through them, or they'll come to me directly, or they'll go through Josh. All varies.
Yeah.
You'll be extremely surprised of what people would do, or even emails. I'm not the best. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not the best. I'm not the best when it comes to emails because because I'm on phone all the time. But when it comes to emails, I'm just not the best at replying back to emails, man.
I believe that. Should I tell you the reason why? Because I probably emailed you about 6 times. And I did not get a response. I did not get a response from this guy. The only way I got a response from him, I had to keep calling him like I was his side chick.
You have to call me. You have to call me. Like, I don't know why. Like, to me, a conversation that we can have in 2 minutes on the phone, it can take days. So I'm like, let's just have a 2-minute conversation. You call me, I'll answer the phone. Let's get it over and done with.
That's the truth. He's hard to get hold of, but I think again,
just call it. Like, yeah, if any, like the best form, like I like calling. Like I can get a text from someone, I'll just look at it and I'll wait for them to call me. I won't even reply back to the text. I don't know why, because I'm like, because if I start to go back, unless I like, obviously we're both extremely busy. Of course, we'll go back for we'll go back and forth. But if I'll just wait until you're free, call me. Let's have a conversation in 2 minutes. And it's done with, as opposed to going back and forth and text, etc. Like, a lot of my friends, they hate that. I'm sure you hate that as well, but I got a lot of friends that literally hate. Like, they hate. I'll call them. I don't respect. At times, I don't respect people's sleep. I'll call them in the middle of the night if I'm
the truth. Because I've messaged it. Let me look at my phone right now. I've messaged this guy about 6 times, no response. Then I call him and he answers the phone in 2 seconds. So. He does it on purpose, but you know what? If you still want to get hold of him, definitely reach out to him via email or go straight to social media.
Yeah, 100%.
His pieces are excellent.
You get a response. That's. I just don't know when.
But what would you say is your actual favorite piece out of your whole art journey? What's your most iconic piece you've made?
Oh man, wow. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Have you got any of them? What really is like, wow, I actually done
one of the piece it has to be one of the latest pieces I've done. It's a Banksy. It's a I think it's a flower. It's the man throwing the flower. I love that piece so much. I remade it obviously in my own way, but that's in my studio. That's like the biggest piece I've done. I think it's like 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters or something like that. It's absolutely massive. So I got that in my studio. That's not even for sale. Yeah, that's not even for sale, bro.
I was thinking if you could sell it or not.
I was actually thinking about it. Yeah, but that's not even for sale. So obviously, of course, everything for sale for the right price. You know what I'm saying? But well, I wouldn't even like the day I sell that piece. It would hurt me. But that's one of my favorite pieces because it's probably the biggest piece I've ever done. But it's also my favorite piece. So I'm waiting to move house, and that's gonna be the first furniture that's gonna go in the house without even any couch or anything like that. I will get a house just to put that piece in the house.
That's the main one.
Yeah, man, that's probably my favorite piece. It's a black and yellow, very simple, but it's it's definitely one of my favorite pieces, man. I would say that. Nah, I got loads, but it's yeah.
As you've got your iconic pieces, I know that's very important. What would you actually say now, coming back to yourself, with your iconic pieces and all these things you've actually done? Have you got any artists who've actually inspired you on your journey, or who you look up to? Like, wow.
Man. Even on my wall, my screensaver is. Well, Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Show the camera.
You can see it.
Show the camera.
Oh, my mom even called me saying. Don't worry, mom, I'll call you back. So Andy Warhol.
Mm-hmm.
The likes of Jean-Michel Basquiat, Keith Haring, Picasso's, of course. especially Basquiat, he's probably my favorite artist because of well, I wouldn't say because he's black, but
Is that one reason?
yeah, that's gotta be one. Obviously, not because of that, but because his work was literally exceptional.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the first one to do the type of work that he's done. So he's he's probably in art anyway. He's probably one of my biggest like inspiration. I read every single book.
Yeah.
I watched every single documentary of his. So yeah, he's definitely one of my, if not the biggest inspiration in my art journey. 100%.
People who do these things, I think it's always good to have someone who inspires you, or always have a
You have to. It's
mentor.
important. 100%.
You need to know someone who's already in the game and who's already done it, so you can really learn from them.
Correct.
And you talking about these individuals, I can imagine, though, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really into art like that, so I haven't seen their work, but I can imagine it's outstanding.
Oh yeah, 100%. Those guys are, yeah, that work is on a whole different level.
Is that your goal? Do you want to be the face of art when it comes to the UK? Like your long term?
Not just in the UK. I don't really care much, to be fair. To be fair, like for me, it's about making the best possible art that I can make, or not just art, but to create the best work that I can create. Do you know what I mean? To me, that's the most important thing, and obviously to have to leave a legacy behind that I can be proud of. Do you know what I mean? So, whether that's just in UK or globally, you know what I mean? I want people to recognize me when I go to, you know, Singapore, when I go Japan, or, you know.
You don't want to introduce yourself
UAE.
anymore. You just want to walk in and then they'll be like, boom.
Exactly. They just want to, I just want to walk in and that's him.
That's fire. You see that right there, people?
That's
You don't
it.
need to introduce yourself anymore. You want to get to that level where you just walk and people know who you are, and it's all because of your accomplishments.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not the type to talk too much as well. I just like to do the work. Do you know what I mean? I don't really like to explain too much of my work. I just like, okay, I like when people see it, to see, you know, to feel how they feel, or for them to make their own interpretation of my work. So, you know, that, you know, I just like my work to be free. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, 100%, man.
You know what? Today has been an absolutely outstanding show. Speaking to Boogie it's been great, because obviously he knows what he's doing. He is a great role model for the young people who are looking to come up and really want to get involved in art, because even my niece, she loves art as well.
Yeah.
I might have to show her your page, but obviously the prices of his art.
Oh, yeah. You're going to have to pay for it. You're going to have to pay.
Most of it, I know the art is not cheap, but the whole point of this, people, really, like, don't ever stop, because he's gone from one world of football, stopped because of injury, then he's transitioned to another world, and he's blown up. I can imagine you must have went through, did you go through any hard times in your art career, like where, let's say, you wasn't really selling any of your pieces because you was new?
Oh, bro, it's there was more hard time than it was good time. I can tell you that much. Yeah, well, it was there was a time, actually, I don't think I told him this as well. There was a time I did my first ever show in beginning 2019. So that was like January, the end of January 2019. I did my first show in Manchester, just to introduce myself to the city. Pretty much, obviously, a few people came that I met, that I'm still, obviously, I'm friends with still. And then, but I remember I did like 20 pieces or something like that for the show. I didn't sell one. at the show, right?
Burner.
So, and then obviously I didn't have much money as well. I think I had like £1,000 in my account at the time, or something like that. And then so I knew that I needed to sell some work to be able to pay next month rent, or just to be able to survive. I told you, I mean. And then I was like, bro, I've got a month rent. I don't even know what I'm gonna do for the month of because that month was the end of December. So that month, the end of January. So that was already paid off. So I needed, obviously, I had February rent, but I needed March rent. Yeah. Right. And then I remember, like, I was like, bro, I got nothing, bro. Jeez. I need to sell some work. And then obviously, like, I kept trying. Like, nobody was buying it. Like, nobody was buying anything. Come come the end of March now, I still haven't sold any work, right? And here I am, I'm panicking. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm gonna pay rent. You know what I mean? At the end of the month, etc. And it comes. This is literally the 30th, the day that I'm supposed to pay rent.
Yeah.
Right. I got no money. Whew. No money at all. So here I am thinking, all right, I need to message or call my landlord, just saying, you know, just give me extra time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait till 6 p.m. to see if I can do something. I didn't want to call anybody to ask him for money or anything like that. I'm like, you know what, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna try and sell some work. You know what I'm saying? I would sell the work for like £200 if I could. I was like, just to bring in some money. And I must remember I received, I done a painting for Andre Gray, like months prior, like the end of 2018, I believe. I must have done some work for him, and then I knew there was a piece that I still had that he was interested in, right? So I was like, this is like 7 p.m, right? I must have just DM'd him. I'm like, bro, I got this artwork. I knew that you wanted it. It's there. I was like, you know what? Let me just. And next thing I know, literally half an hour later, he sent me back he messaged me back. He was like, "Oh yeah, that piece, I want it, bro." He was like, "How much?" He was like, "How much?" I'm like, so my rent at the time was 875, and then obviously I needed extra. You know what I'm saying, for like to buy food, etc. When I said I had zero in my account, I didn't even have £1, bro.
Jesus.
And then he must have messaged me back straight away. He's like, yeah, I want it. How much? So I'm like, it's 1,500. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, I was like, he's probably not even gonna reply because I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And then he texts me back saying, yeah, no problem. Whew. The money's in your account. I go and check my account. The money, like 1,500 is in my account.
He sent you the money
literally, like the moment he said, yeah, because he already had my bank detail from the last purchase, right?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, if the money's in your account. I looked at my account, literally 1,500. I think I cried that day. Like literally 1,500. I'm like, well, here I am. I was gonna call my landlord to be like, yo, if you can give me extra time, etc.
Yeah.
So, literally 1,500. I remember I literally sent 875 to my landlord, and the rest of it I went straight to Sainsbury's to buy some food, some grocery. And then at that point, I like, from that day I told myself like I'll never be in that situation again. I just went like crazy from that point on. And I just like my work rate, it went from literally from like on a whole different level.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember when I met with Andre last year, and then I even told him the story because he didn't even know like of what he did for me like for that day. So I remember I must have told him. He was like extremely surprised. So yeah, I have to give a shout out to Andre Gray, man.
Andre Gray.
Andre Gray is a real one. I'll tell you that much.
You know what? A lot of people do go through these type of issues, like going through the time where they have no money to really invest in themselves to help grow their business and stuff like that. You saying this story, a lot of people wouldn't even think, nah, he's never been through that, man. He's selling 1 million pieces. He's on top of the world. But people don't know the real hardship you have to go through to get to where you are now, innit?
100%. You have to go through them to really be able to know what you're capable of. You know what I mean? And only time you know of what you're capable of is the moment you hit rock bottom, and you're either forced to either stay there or climb right back to the top. Do you know what I mean?
Ooh, you know what? Say that statement again one more time. But I want you to look in the camera and say that damn statement. That's big. That's very big. Say that statement.
You know, the only time you know what you're really capable of is when you hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And either forced to stay where you are or climb right back to the top, man.
That's very true. When your back's against the wall, you have no other options. I think that's when you really do perform. Because again,
100%.
I've been through that same stage. Like when you talk through, obviously, about the moment where you had no money in account.
Correct.
I didn't really have that sort of experience. I had the experience of when I had a brain tumor, and that's how real it was. That's what I mean. Like when I had my brain tumor, that was the biggest thing ever. I remember I used to have long hair, I used to love my hair, had to cut it off to get the surgery to take the tumor out and things like that.
Facts.
And I knew that's when my life was really at rock bottom. I was thinking, wow, I've got this huge scar on the side of my head. I don't want to go out no more. I don't know how I'm going to be reacting. I bet even if you like type in my name on Google or something, like it'll probably come up as classified as disabled or something like that, because it was a truth. I had a disability.
Yeah, correct.
Not a lot of people know these things, but this is just to be real. When your back's against the wall, that's what builds character. And
100%.
that's the truth.
I agree, man.
With his story, he's going through a moment where he didn't have no money, but look at him now. He's one of the best in England, and he's scaled his business to heights people can only imagine. And I know it's going to continue growing as well.
Bro, we hope so, man. We hope so, because it's not going to stop anytime soon, bro. I'm not going back to where I was.
There you go.
So yeah, no, man, we're just gonna keep going and keep growing. That's the biggest thing. So taking it every day as it comes, man. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Boogie, honestly, it was excellent having you today on this show. Thank you very much.
Nah, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. Thank you for having me, man. This is exciting. My first podcast as well. So you made it.
These guys, he's always got to say these type of statements all the time. All the time, say these type of statements. Do you have any final words for the audience?
Nah, listen. Anybody that's out there that wanna jump into something that they have no idea how to start, no matter what industry you're in, could be music, art, clothing, whatever it may be, even a podcast. You don't need to be a genius to start. You know what I'm saying? If nobody was a genius in the beginning, everybody just did it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So nobody's a genius in the beginning. Everybody just start, and then and while you're doing it, you gain experience, you learn, and then you go through ups and downs. But that's what's gonna build, character. That's what's gonna build who you are. So yeah, I'll just say, just keep going, and if you haven't start.
There you go.
That's it, man. That's it.
See what Boogie said there? If you haven't started, you might as well start, because that's 100%. The truth. Stay positive and always remain focused. Don't get distracted, because there's always distractions in this world. But if you want to become someone, you need to make yourself become someone, and you have to put in the actions to do it. But again, stay focused. That's what I'm going to say. Stay focused. But today, again, a phenomenal show. Before we end the show, I need to say who the show is sponsored by. It's sponsored by the one and only beautiful Manscaped. So men, if you do have furry private areas, I advise you get your Manscaped. Make your wife and your partner very happy. Be smooth as ever. But today, thank you very much for watching the show. For all the information on Boogie, you can see that in the bottom in the description to all of his socials. If you want to get yourself a painting, I advise you contact him. But do not contact him if you don't have 50,000 and above, because...
Oh yeah, that's facts. You gotta come correct. That's all playing.
Jesus. All right. Thank you very much for watching, guys. See you in the next episode.
Love, love, love.
Do you want your body to feel smooth? Do you want to have that nice body with no hair at all? Well, I've got something for you, and that is Manscaped. I'll let you know now. If you have a partner, she wants to see a man who is smooth with no grizzle hair. So if you want to get your Manscaped, look in the description below, use my discount code and claim yours. Sometimes you feel hairy. Sorry, you could just be... 10 seconds. That was all right, wasn't it? Or was it a bit offensive?
Should we get offensive?
No. Should be right.
It only has to be 10 seconds. How did it sound? Come on, Empress.
It sounded...
Or should I do it again? But don't say species.
Yeah, just said...